What's up, guys? It's Breeze going over my UFC 282 breakdown here. Heck of a card. We had 10 finishes, came in hot, and you couldn't ask for a better start through the early prelims and the prelims, and then the main card. Things hit a halt in the co-main. We all know that there was a lot of controversy with the decision of Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then a lot of controversy with the judges in the main event. So started out on the prelims with Raul Rosas Jr. I got a lot to say about that kid, man. He's he's the truth. It's pretty hard to fathom that he's 10 years away from reaching his physical prime. So I don't know when he'll peak as a fighter, but he's got all the potential and the highest ceilings in the world. And it's exciting, you know, as the fans to see the next generation come in. It's always exciting. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I think he won't be a 135er forever. So it'll be interesting to see where his career takes him and the matchups that'll come. But I'm very excited about it. The main card was a heck of a card, man. It started out with the same momentum, finish on finish. We had Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria. What a fight, man! I mean, we all knew that was a serious bout. Two undefeated guys. Somebody's O had to go, and it was Mitchell. I thought Mitchell would have the advantage with the grappling. I know that Ilya's a black belt, but I thought Ilya would have the advantage with the hands. I think he obviously had the advantage with the hands, but he also has enough grappling where he was able to keep the fight exactly where he wanted to, and he was able to punish Bryce for however many minutes they stood in front of each other, man. That was brutal. And then finally, when he got pancaked and choked out with the arm, had an arm choke, Bryce is a dog, and I won't ever challenge his character, his will, but it just looked like he was totally, totally done. I don't think a Bryce Mitchell who's been cracked like that, who hasn't been cracked like that, gets tapped to that choke. I think he finds his way out of that. I think he was beaten and broken, and that's why he got subbed. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see them grapple because, like I said, I think Bryce still has the advantage there, but I think Ilya did a great job in MMA busting him up, breaking him down, and then finishing him with the submission. So wonderful job, Till and Dricus du Plessis. That was a sick fight. I thought in the second round Till was going to finish him. It was really back and forth. I think Till can definitely hang at middleweight. I think welterweight wouldn't be a bad idea for him, but he's taking some time away, guys. He's only 29. He's going to be back. I think it was unfortunate, but he'll be back. He'll be back. And the truth is, he just wasn't working on his wrestling, man. Or he had an injury or something. All I know is in that bout, his wrestling looked really, 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 really bad. I mean, he hasn't been training with Hamzat clearly with wrestling, or not enough, because there was just no sprawl. Every time that Dricus took a shot on him, he didn't catch an underhook. He never caught him under the arms. It was always over the body. He always on top, and he wasn't able to stop a takedown like that. Unless you're, a real decorated wrestler and you're going for a gut wrench and you're gonna throw him. I mean, you gotta catch him under the arms. You gotta sprawl, and he just did not look like he knew how to sprawl. So main event was fantastic. Co-main was a fun fight, but co-main got a lot of controversy, rightfully so. I think Jared came in. I think he put a lot of pressure on Paddy Pimblett. I think he was landing the bigger cracks. You saw a lot of red on Paddy's face those first couple rounds, and then the third round he clearly dominated him. So with control, I think Paddy landed a couple nick shots, whatever. Who cares, man? He put you where he wanted to put you, and you couldn't do anything about it. So you lost that. You lost rounds 1, 2, and 3, if you ask me. And to me, it's just baffling that not a single judge put it in favor for Jared Gordon. Not a single one. Seems sketchy, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to finish these fights if you really want to put it out. But when you're in the UFC, it's really hard to finish a UFC fighter. So we got to get these scorecards right. What we can all say about Paddy Pimblett is his stock's gone a little bit down from this bout. I mean, everybody wants to compare him to Conor, this and all that. Like, look, Conor was the fighting Irish. He had the fun accent, the better accent. He was knocking people out left and right. That was the aura and the mystique with Conor. He was coming in and putting people to sleep. So it wasn't like, he was having these close fights with unranked guys or top 15 guys. He was coming in right away from those two straps that he got in Europe and he was finishing everybody they put in front of him in the UFC. I don't care if you think they paved the way for him, if he had good matchups. He rose to the occasion and he put people all the way out. That was the thing, man. Conor was his own guy. He had way more charm and wit than Paddy did. So I think, you know, the mystique of somebody who's putting people, he's flatlining everybody in front of him. That is very hard to replicate because he rose to the occasion. So in short, nobody will ever come close to Conor McGregor, and for sure not Paddy Pimblett. Main event, guys, was fun. I thought that was a wonderful bout. I feel bad for both guys, but truly, I mean, I don't think it was as much of a robbery as everybody says. I mean, we throw that term around very loosely, robbery. You know, it's close fights are not robberies. If you watch it, I think, you know, you could personally watching it live. I had Jan winning 1, 2, and 3. I was in a room with a bunch of people who were splitting the first round, Jan and Ankalaev. So it's really, I think, what it came down to was that first round. Who won the first round? But you know, I think it was clear that Jan won 2 and 3, and I think it was clear that Ankalaev won 3 and 4. And if I may just touch on that, Ankalaev was badly hurt in his legs, you know, and he got cracked in the head too. You know, he had some damage on his face, but he rose to the occasion, and that's championship mentality. What he did there, you know, getting hurt, not giving up, and in adapting mid-fight. I love guys who can do that. You know, that literacy and that dog in them, a true fighter's fighter. You know, survive in advance. And Ankalaev did a great job, man. I think he has every right to be upset, but anybody who's not getting that belt wrapped around them after a title fight has a right to be upset. So I empathize for both guys. Total class act by Jan. But at the end of the day, the next title fight is Jamal Hill and Glover Teixeira. So tune in. I think stylistically, that's a great matchup for Hill. I think he's going to be able to keep it on the feet, and he's going to land big like he always does, and probably get that strap wrapped around him. I mean, Glover's just out of his prime now. He had a wonderful story, and Hill is kind of peaking, if you ask me. So maybe he hasn't reached his peak yet, but he's on the up and up, and you're probably going to be looking at a new champ. I think you're going to see second quarter Jamal Hill versus Ankalaev. I think that will happen. I think that is really the bout to be made of the two best guys in the division next to Yuri. So hopefully we can get that cranked out, and then winner face Yuri towards end of next year, third quarter 3. You know, we'll see. But either way, heck of a fight card, guys. 10 finishes. Judges had a light day in the office, still didn't really seem to get it right. So that's always shitty. But all in all, great year, guys. 2022 was awesome for MMA in general. Let me hear it, guys. What you think about UFC 282? Did you have Paddy? What rounds? Did you have Gordon? What rounds? How'd you score the main event? Let me know.